Hi everyone, this is Megzobo69 at Take the Red Pill. Excuse me. I saw this video today on YouTube where this individual, I don't remember his full name, but the last ended with gorilla, made statements about atheism and how they hijack the word skeptic or skepticism. And so what the name of the individual is really not as important as the things that he said, and so those are the things I want to address a little bit. Well, like I said again, he said that atheists have hijacked the word skeptic, and I mean, here's the thing: just because you are a skeptic, that doesn't mean that you're an atheist. And although a lot of atheists are skeptical, that does not mean that an atheist is a skeptic. Just so we're clear, first of all, everybody can be a skeptic, and probably I would have ventured to say that a lot of people at some point are a skeptic about something. That's perfectly normal. But let me read to you, or let me tell you a definition of a skeptic. It's basically a person who questions the validity of something purported to be factual. That's all it is. And so anybody can, again, like I said, be a skeptic about something or about everything. It depends. There are different levels. Just like, you may believe one thing and you may not believe so many other things. And so, excuse me, theists feel the need, he said, well, one thing he said, theists feel the need to convince that there is a God, and atheists feel the need to convince that there is not a God. I disagree with that. I highly disagree with that, and let me tell you why. Theists, for them feeling the need to convince that there is a God, that part I will agree with on some level. For atheists feeling the need to convince that there is not a God, I mean, I don't know atheists personally that actually have that stance that they have to convince people that there is not a God. But on the basic level of atheism, it's not convincing anybody or anything. It's just simply saying, I don't believe. It's just that simple. So there's no mandate to convince anything. And in fact, I will talk about how actually theists do try to convince people that there is a God. I'll get to that shortly. Now, he said that he feels it's not one. And by the way, again, I'm kind of looking down at these notes. I just take notes just so I can remind myself things I want to touch points on. So I guess I'll just leave it down here on the table so I can look at it better. Excuse me. He said, he feels it's not his place to convince us of anything. Well, here's the thing. Since when is it about convincing anybody on anything? I mean, to me, when you go out your way to try to convince somebody of whether something does or does not exist, or whether something is true or not true, you have a lot of evidence to support. Well, you need a lot of evidence to support that. You have evidence to prove, to show the individual or the individuals that you are trying to convince of your claim. And if somebody is making a claim, again, like I've said before, the burden of proof rests upon that individual. It's just that simple. And it's funny because one of the things that he said in his video also is, he said he thinks everyone should be a skeptic. I agree. Everyone should be a skeptic, especially when it has to do with religion. And here's why. Let me first say this actually. He did say something about like, as if atheists say that religion is bad. Well, I guess that's a how to say it. It's somebody's perspective. How do you look at religion? Is it good? Is it bad? Well, religion has done damage. I'm not going to deny that. But then again, you got some things that some religions do that are, I believe that are somewhat okay. Excuse me, you got a lot of Catholic groups, for example, where, if somebody is homeless or moving from one place to another and they don't know anybody. They help house you and things of that nature. So there are some things some things that are good that they do. I'm not going to claim everything they do is good, because to me that would be a bold-faced lie. And that goes for any religion. I would not say that everything that they do is good, because that's a bold-faced lie. A lot of people that I've seen who are religious, a lot of them are really down-to-earth good people. It's just when they get to the core beliefs of their religion, then things starts to go a little astray. They do try to tell you, oh yeah, certain things exist, and okay, it doesn't. But here's the thing. Here's the one thing that he said that was really striking to me. Well, hold on a second. Let me finish my first thought. The thought before. About him saying that everybody should be skeptical. Here's the question I have on that. If people were really skeptical and they stayed skeptical, do you really believe people would be believing in the Bible as much? I mean, it would be so easy if people were really that skeptical and they looked at everything and wanted to analyze things because of their skepticism. I think people would really see some things, inaccuracies and things of that nature in the Bible, and start to question whether it is actually true or not, or whether it's factual or not, which would go back to the definition of what a skeptic is. Excuse me. So on to the next point. The thing that he said that was really striking. He said, theists have no proof that there is a God, and atheists have no proof that there is no God. I actually have to agree with him. He's absolutely right. Theists have no proof that there is a God, and atheists have no proof that there is no God. But here's the little caveat in that. If you have no proof that something exists, why are you going to believe that it does? And atheists, of course, have no proof that there is no God. And at the same time, because they have no proof that there is no God, well, why are they going to believe it? But back to the theists themselves. If, again, like I said, if you have no proof that a God exists, why are you believing such a thing? I mean, I've given many examples before about if, I told you that I can jump a tall building in a single bound, more than likely people would not believe me. They would say, okay, well, either two things. Either you're out of your mind. Excuse me. They would say either I'm out of my mind, or they would say, prove it. They would require the proof. They would not believe me. So what's so different about religion that people just go on believing it without even questioning the core tenets of it? That's beyond me. Well, I'm sorry. I can't say that's beyond me, because I was once at that point. I was a theist at one point where I did believe everything in Christianity, until my mind opened up and I, became a skeptic and say, let me evaluate things. Now here's the thing. Again, I'm not saying a skeptic is an atheist or atheist is a skeptic. What I'm saying is, from being skeptical, that got me digging a lot more for the truth, which is the one thing that I've been always in search of. And it led me to the place where I am today. Hence, I took the red pill. And he also said that belief or non-belief in God is a personal quest. While I may agree that belief in a God is a personal quest, I will disagree that not believing in a God is a personal quest, because here's the thing. It doesn't take much to not believe. It takes as far as I'm concerned, it takes very little effort. Someone tells me something that seems to be extraordinary, I'll be like, okay, I don't believe you until you provide proof. That's just the end of it. I mean, literally, within 5 seconds, that's where the disbelief will come in, and that's about it. That's where, to me, believing takes a little bit more effort, because, yeah, you're going to believe, you're going to, based upon whatever proof you think you may have. But then it has to be an ongoing thing. Something always has to be triggering. Why is it that you believe that this thing is or exists? So I believe, in my opinion, that there's a difference between both. Excuse me. Now, he reiterated again towards the end of his video. It said, Why do atheists feel it's their job to convince people there is no God? He said it's dishonest. Let's take a look at that for a second. Why do atheists feel it's their job to convince people there is no God? If there are atheists out there doing that, convincing people that there is no God, in my opinion, the truth of the matter is we do not have evidence that there is no God. So trying to convince somebody of that, well, where are you going to bring up your evidence? However, theists do it all the time. They actually do it a lot more than people may think. And people don't realize it. And let me give you a simple example of theists that convince people, or try to convince people all the time, that God exists. Church. Look at your pastors, your priest, every Sunday. That's what they're doing. Because think about this. If they could not convince people that there's a God, if they could not keep people's attention to the notion that there's a God, people would probably start dropping like flies out of their churches. And then when you have having your big time churches like, let's say, Creflo Dollar or Eddie Bishop Long, those people, they probably would go out of business. They probably wouldn't have the nice mega churches that they have, nor would they have the nice houses and cars that they have, because people would not be paying their 10% tithes that don't go fully to the church fund. It wouldn't be happening. So, like I said, you have theists all the time trying to convince people that God exists. Heck, I've had Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses coming to my door numerous occasions and trying to convince me of their message, trying to invite me to come to the church, the whole 9 yards. So I, to my knowledge, have not seen any atheists knocking on doors saying, hey, I want to tell you the good news that there is no God. I'm not aware of any such thing. And if there are any atheists out there doing that, heck, I think I would like to know, because it seems like a funny concept, but I think I'd like to know that because I think that'd be interesting. However, that's besides the point. The bottom line is, again, for him making those claims that theists, atheists are trying to convince people all the time that there is no God. Well, again, theists do it every single Sunday. And more time than not, you start looking at your regular, like Baptist church, Pentecostals, well, they're doing it more than once a week, because, there's Bible study on Wednesday nights, Sunday service, there's things going on all the time. And so, that claim, I think we'll dismiss it for now. Here's the bottom line. I think a lot of people are getting their facts or their judgment confused. Definitely I'll say people's judgments are being skewed left and right. The typical atheist that I know, okay, again, I said that I know, so I'm not saying this goes for all the atheists, but a typical atheist that I know is just simply going to say, I don't believe it, where's your evidence of it? And actually, I'm not even going to say typical atheist, I'm going to say the typical non-theist that I know. Because, they're like humanists, atheists, agnostics, agnostic atheists, the whole category of people. And those people who don't believe in a God, generally is that's what they say. I don't believe your claim. And that's as simple as they keep it. Now, going back to the original thing about, hijacking the word skeptic, I think what has happened over the years is a lot of people who were skeptical on things ended up becoming atheists. But again, it's not that because they're skeptic they're an atheist, and because they're atheists they're skeptic. No, it's just their skepticism always had them questioning things, and eventually they came to the understanding that this is all a big story, this is all a big lie, it's fake, and so they don't believe in it. It's that simple. So as for who hijacks what, no, because here's the thing, I'm not going to say theists are not skeptics. Yeah, well, this guy turned around and said he's skeptical of atheism. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what part of it that he's skeptical about, but he still said that he's skeptical of it. So I don't think anybody's hijacking anything. I don't think there's a big conspiracy out there I just think that people are voicing their opinions or their thoughts on things, and you have a lot of theists who seem to get very sensitive and are just taking things way out of whack. I think people just need to really calm down and just look at what it is that's being said. Again, I've met up with so many theists that you ask them very simple questions, you know, about what is it they believe, and they really fly off the handle. They get very sensitive about it, and now they turn it to that you're being attacked. I mean, excuse me, you're attacking them. That's a big fallacy. You know, the other one that I see quite a bit is, and I had this happen to me actually just recently. Somebody posted something, and I did not answer back right away. And so this individual felt like, because of my silence, I must be somehow scared of him, or, you know, think that maybe he was a little too witty for me, so I was not going to engage him. That's argumentum ex silentio. In other words, it's a fallacy. It's pretty much an argument of ignorance, but it's a fallacy of where, because somebody does not respond or say something that you claimed, all of a sudden you think that proves that you're right. Not so. Now you can, of course, you can generally tell when somebody, you know, concedes to what is it that you're saying and doesn't want to go any further because they have no way of proving what is it that they continue claiming. That's one thing. But it's a whole totally different thing if somebody puts something out there and the other person just hasn't said anything yet. It's a whole different thing. And that latter part is what people get confused and think, oh, I won this debate or whatever the case is. Not so. Here's the thing. I would love for any theist I would like to sit down with any theist for them to answer any of my questions. Because so far, I have not received any answers. The only answers I've gotten are things like, oh, it's in the Bible. Yeah, well, that book is a claim. It's not proving anything. I mean, I can turn around and say, well, if something's in the book, that means it makes it correct. So then I guess I will believe the story of this guy who can climb the walls and shoot webs from his fingers. Really? 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 Come on. So, let's be real about one thing. Facts are facts, and facts will stand alone on their own merit. And facts also will stand outside of the claim. That's just bottom line. And so, if somebody has, again, facts or anything to show me these claims, then I'll be more than happy to sit down and listen. I'll be actually happy to sit down and listen to any theist of what they got to say, because I'm genuinely interested. I'm genuinely curious as to why is it that they think the way they do, and what makes them continue on in their train of thought. So the other thing I would definitely love to get answered is for anybody to show me the, not evidence, but I guess show me the reasoning behind the atrocities that have been committed in the Bible. That is one big question I've always had. And nobody has been able to give a rational explanation for, let's say, when God, wipes out the whole earth to include innocent babies. Nobody has been able to give a rational answer on that. Or when God tells certain people to go into a city and slay the women, children, and infants. I'd like to know the rationale behind that. So anyway, again, if anybody has anything to say or add to anything, please, I'm all ears. And I'm sincerely saying this, I am all ears. So until next time, everybody, this is Megzable69 with Take the Red Pill. Have a nice day.